See, once you realize how this world is set up and operated by secret societies and specific orders and people who are basically placed in specific positions on the world stage at a higher level to the lower levels. That's why you got gang stalkers out here on the streets. That's why you got perpetrators, people who are helping organize gang stalk on the streets. You got these people in professional positions within societies. You have doctors, lawyers, you know, basically down to the common man, all the way up to the higher class, the wealthy class. And once you know that the world is basically a stage itself, it's kind of like I could see why something like organized stalking or gang stalking or these experimental um plays and mind games and just everything they're doing on society, I could see how this is possible. Whereas the average person, the average man and woman is too busy worrying about how they're going to pay the bills, or, they got children to raise, or, they got things to do at work. And a lot of people are just so consumed by basically, this energy farm, this matrix of what we call life here in this existence. So many people are so consumed by just getting through day-to-day life that a lot of people don't even have the time to question what's going on or really realize or look around. So, you got those people who are perps, gang stalkers, a part of these certain orders and societies themselves within society that are perpetrating this against the most highest people, the righteous ones. Then you got the people who are being targeted. But in between those two groups of people, you got the people who are completely oblivious. What people would call, NPCs or organic portals. There's so much terminology, and there's so many ways you could capture this with words. But I'm trying not to talk in circles. It's just really, I just felt like I had to speak on this because I feel like once you know that this world is ran and controlled by specific bloodlines, and this goes back to the ancient times, like once you really know that it's very spiritual before it reaches the physical, it kind of makes sense. Like, not kind of, but it does make sense that, we'd be in the predicament that we're in right now. And personally, um, I would rather be with the Most High and just endure this than sell out, because I feel like it's easier to do evil than it is to actually stay pure or do good in this world. For most people, it's easier to do evil than it is to keep some type of morality or some type of principle. It seems like the world has actually grown cold. And, people could argue and say that's my perception personally, but that's really how I've picked up on it. It's like, you go places and you feel this narcissistic energy. You feel this, it's hard to really explain. It's like a prideful, evil energy that most people have where, as a society, we've got to the point where they've engineered it to be this way. So, if you don't look a certain way, if you don't sound a certain way, if, you don't have the means or the funds, then you're not really going to even be perceived as a person, as a human being. So it's understandable how organized stalking or gang stalking really preys on that. It preys on that want that people have to fit in, that want that people have to have the latest material item to fit in with other people and show other people that they got it, the fake flex. It really appeals to those who have no principle, no moral compass, because it's easy for them to sell out the next person or their family member or their friend or their coworker or their neighbor. It's easy for people to do that, to gain. You know what I mean? Rather than work for what they want, or work or earn their keeps, or do whatever it is they have to do to earn their keeps with some sort of morale way. So, not to say that anybody's perfect, but it's one thing to be a targeted individual, and then it's one thing to just see what being a targeted individual will reveal to you about human nature and humanity as a whole, and the majority. The majority. Not to say that everybody is out to get you, everybody's a bad person, every authority is involved, everybody in a higher position is involved, but you know, the way people can be bribed, people can be um told lies about you. People can use smear campaigns, defamation of character, all of this to change the majorities, to change the community's mind about you, to change your family's mind, to change whoever's around you's mind about you, and defame your character, and basically use character assassination so that people view you in a different way. The way that they can easily do this and sway the minds of others is as a target individual, is crazy, man. Like, once you see how easily manipulated people are, and how gullible they are to believe the lies of another person who is in their ear, who is telling this to them, or once you see how quick people are to run to do evil, and how sadistic and really miserable a lot of people are, because a lot of people involved in this are very miserable people. Let's face it, like, a lot of them are narcissistic. They're insecure. They are. How could you be jealous or hate somebody you never even spoke to personally? That says a lot about your character. So I just wanted to say that, you know the way that the ones at the top sort of manipulate the lower level ones, and just turn everybody into puppets, fighting each other, and dividing up, society as a whole, and social engineering society so that nobody looks up and sees the hand, controlling the strings. It's really, like, obvious once you become a target individual. It's really obvious that this surveillance system, these fusion centers, all these so-called community watch groups, and all these people, these authorities, everybody who's supposed to, it's inverted, it's backwards. Everybody who's supposed to be the so-called, heroes, are actually the ones who are aiding the evil going on in the world. They're actually the ones who are enabling the evil. And crime pays for these people. Trafficking pays for these people, putting innocent people on watch lists, blacklisting people. Some put on this list since birth. It pays for people, hiding people's identities, stealing identities, all that. All these people who are in positions of authority, um, messing with people's medical records, everybody just being bribed off. People who are supposed to be trusted in this society being bribed off, and persuaded to do all this to one individual. Like, it just shows you a lot about society. It really does. And then the thing about people is, even if you try to confront them about these matters, people are so cowardly that, you know, they probably signed NDAs, or it probably goes deeper than anything we even know. Like, they're told to, or taught to deny, deny, deny. So it ain't like anybody's gonna come out and have some principle and just admit to what they're doing. Like I said, most people are cowards. They're gonna cast stones and hide behind a group, or they're gonna hide their hand. That's why the goal of all this is to really set up a target individual. It's to really, it's reactive abuse, to get you to react, set yourself up, you know, get you to lash out, get you to do something and make a permanent decision based on like a temporary emotion, so that you basically affect your life as a whole. So I just really sit here and really just think about these things, and just really, once you really know as a target individual how it works, it's like you don't really fall for the same things. I feel like the targeting doesn't let up, but you just get like stronger. You learn to just like like cope through it better. That's all. And not lose faith. If anything, this made me gain faith. This didn't make me forsake the faith that I had. So I know a lot of people are going through it out there, and I'm just grateful to just be here another day, and at least just be able to be aware of what's going on, and not have somebody control my every move. Not take orders from a cell phone. Um, Not believe gossip or what somebody's coming up to me saying about another individual. I'm grateful for critical thinking skills, and that I didn't have to be a follower to fit in, or I don't even want to follow people. I'm grateful for that too. I'm grateful that the Most High put that spirit in all target individuals. So I just want y'all to take care. I just had that on my mind real quick, and just stay aware out there and do what you got to do. Um, I'm not the most targeted. I don't claim to be no spokesperson. I'm just another piece of the puzzle. That's all I am. So you'll take care, man.